You've heard it time and time again. If you want to be successful, you have to be consistent, right? It's like a broken record at this point, but consistency is such a broad term. You probably have thought, what exactly am I supposed to be consistent with doing? And I get it. As your best friend in beauty, I got you, okay? One of the things that I am known for is my consistency. I mean, the Friends in Beauty podcast is proof of that. I've been releasing episodes every single Wednesday for the last 3 years without missing a beat. So trust me, I got this consistency thing down packed. So if you've been struggling with being consistent, I'm doing something very special for you. On November 17th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will be hosting Mastering the Art of Consistency, and I'm sharing all of my secrets on how I maintain my consistency and the 10 areas of consistency that I focused on that took me from being undiscovered to being a trailblazer. So I don't know if you know, I recently received the 2023 Black Beauty Roster Excellence AJ Crimson Trailblazer Award, and it made me reflect on what got me to this point. People were even sliding in my DMs asking for advice on what they should be doing to move the needle forward in their businesses. And I've been trying to figure out a way for so long to teach my friends in beauty how to be consistent and overcome their challenges with being inconsistent. And this is it. If you've been feeling like you're constantly overlooked for opportunities, maybe clients aren't rolling in fast enough for you, or maybe you get discouraged and find yourself starting and stopping, questioning your worth, or maybe you're just on the verge of burnout, trying to keep up with all the girlies on Instagram. Does it sound familiar to you? Okay, then you absolutely have to join me for Mastering the Art of Consistency, because I can almost guarantee you that the results that you want lie in being consistent in at least one of the 10 areas that I'm going to share with you, or maybe all 10 of them. It may be just what you need to change the trajectory of your business going into the new year. I'm going to be sharing the 10 areas of consistency to focus on to become a trailblazer, the number one reason why most people struggle with consistency, strategies for developing consistent behaviors, and how to set yourself up for success and consistent behavior going forward, and so much more. So if you're ready to stop being stuck and actually do the work that matters to blaze your own trail in this industry, then register for Mastering the Art of Consistency. It's free, by the way, because I really want to help as many of my friends in beauty as possible with this information. So register right now. I'll leave the link down below. Share the link with your friends in beauty, your other friends in beauty that you want to see win as well, okay? Don't keep this information for yourself. And let's set the industry on fire, like in a good way though, okay? All right. I'll see you soon. Let's go ahead and jump into the episode.
What a lot of people don't realize with male grooming, it's actually a lot more technical to make it look like they're not wearing makeup. Like it's a craft, it's an art to it. And I mean, next year I'm going to start planning on hosting classes to really go into it. But I want to kind of show people like men don't need to be super beat. Like it's more so about the skin. Just making sure the skin is effortless, fresh, clean, and making sure they feel comfortable in it, and making sure they don't feel too powdery or too, not too much. Because I would say my first male client, it was actually, it's someone from Chicago when I was in my Chicago days. Mm-hmm. And he was a celebrity as well. I'm not going to even say it. But it was my first time doing male grooming, and I like powder beat him. And he was just like, why am I orange? And I was like, oh no. So I learned quickly from my first time. I was like, okay, I got to do a little less and a little. And I just learned, just from humble experiences, just take it back until I finally fine-tuned on my technique for it. And I'm like, okay, now I know less is more. Skin is always in. Make sure the skin looks breathable and just nice and complete.
Welcome to the Friends in Beauty podcast, a safe space for ambitious beauty industry creatives to have real talk, get authentic answers, and practical tools to grow their businesses. Join me every week as me and my special guest reveal the keys to longevity and success in the beauty industry, from the ups and downs of their journey to the nitty-gritty of their struggles and triumphs. We're spilling the tea on it all, and most importantly, having fun while doing it. You ready? Hey, what's up? It's your best friend in beauty, Aquia Robinson. Welcome back to another episode of the Friends in Beauty podcast. I am so happy to have you here, and I hope you're listening to this episode in high spirits and in good health. Now, on today's episode of the Friends in Beauty podcast, I welcome Andrea Samuels to the Friends in Beauty guest chair. So, Andrea is an award-winning makeup artist, hairstylist, and beauty educator whose work has been seen on the likes of Snoop Dogg, Dwayne Wade, Michelle Williams, as well as with brands like Nike, Versace, Nickelodeon, Target, just to name a few, because she's popping. So welcome to the Friends of Beauty podcast, Andrea.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I'm super excited to be here.
I am super excited to have you because I was just telling you, I feel like we've been Facebook and like Instagram friends for
For
years.
too long.
For too long.
I
And I don't
know.
know if we've ever like talked before though, like personally.
That's true. Yeah, but this is perfect timing, and yeah, I'm excited to get into it. Yeah.
Yes, I'm so excited. You have no idea. So before we jump into the nitty gritty, I want to start off with some icebreakers just to get us warmed up and so the Friends and Beauty audience can get to know you a little bit outside of beauty.
Absolutely.
So the first one, just give us 3 random facts about you.
3 random facts. I used to rock climb. I need to get back into it actually, but before I moved away from Chicago, like rock climbing was like my favorite activity. So I was always getting my hands dirty, trying to like get through the boulders. So that was like my thing for a while.
Okay.
What else? Another random fact. Well, I think some people don't know I was a painter first.
Nice.
I still get into art here and there, especially during the pandemic. I was painting heavy again.
Okay.
So I was a painter, and I actually went to the School of the Art Institute and learned about color theory and facial anatomy, like the whole thing at a really young age. I was about like 8 or 9 years old when I was taking college courses for like to understand art. So I was an artist first, and then makeup came later.
Okay.
Third thing, what else? Um, Oh, I found, well, this is like family related, but I found a brother through Ancestry and I found a sister through Facebook. So my dad was a Rolling Stone, basically.
Is he not around anymore?
No, he is not, unfortunately.
Okay.
But after his passing, a lot of his kids started popping up through the internet, basically. So that's another random fact, and it was unexpected. We didn't expect it. It just so I got a growing family, basically.
Wow. So were you looking for them or they were looking for someone?
Both. It was a little bit of both. With
Yeah.
my sister on Facebook, she looked just like my dad, and she popped up one day like, "Hey, you may know this person." I'm like, "Okay, we definitely related." My brother, we all took the test, and he popped up through our email, and we were like, "Okay, he definitely looks like your dad." Like that, like so. That's just kind of how it happened. Like it was pretty random and unexpected. So
I
yeah.
like that. I like that a lot. My sister is on ancestry.com and she's found like some of our like I guess they would be considered our aunts, like our mother's sisters.
Got you.
Because her
Okay.
father had like multiple kids. Our grandfather had multiple kids as well. So she's found
Oh,
like aunties and like
wow.
on her father's side, my sister's father, she's found like uncles and because we're my family, her father and my father are from Jamaica. So
Oh, okay.
is a little bit different, I guess, with finding people overseas, but she's found some people.
Yeah, that's incredible. So your
I
family's
love
growing too? All
Yeah,
right.
that's really cool. Okay. What is something that you're like really snobby about? Like you're a snob over something.
Snobby. Ooh.
Some people are like water snobs. They're like, I only drink Fiji. Okay.
Really? I feel like I think maybe the most surprising thing about me is like I am a snob when it comes to products. Like I have been on a uh like name brand pick for a while. So I'm
Okay.
trying to get all the La Mers, all the Lancomes,
She got
all the fancy stuff. So I
money.
guess I'm a snob for like the really nice products.
I love it.
But like personally, no, I'm not really. I mean, I love to get my nails done. Like I love a manicure, but I'm
Hmm.
not really like a snob type. I'm not like I have to absolutely have the best. I
Yeah.
don't know, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I guess like, yeah, when it comes to like my kit, like I make sure my it's pristine and super clean and fresh and up to date. So I guess
I
my
love that.
kit. Yeah, my
Okay.
kit.
I love that. I love that. I have these pod decks here. They have like these random questions. This is a what
Oh,
the heck
cute.
and a would you
Oh, I love that.
rather.
That's so cute.
Which
Okay.
one do you want?
Ooh, I'm gonna go for green.
Green. Yes. Let's go for green. Let's see. Please don't be anything crazy. Mm, yeah. If you had a child, I guess, what would be the absolute worst name you can give your child?
The worst name. Uh, I guess I'm not really not a fan of like super long names.
Yeah.
I can't say like, I guess like that would be my preference. Like I kind of prefer like a shorter, like like 8 letters or less type of name. So I think when it's super long, like I don't know. I guess like, yeah, super long name, because then it'll be inconvenient for the kid, and then they got to explain it to their friends, and it's a whole to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
Or the
guess like
people
a
who
super
have
long name.
like 10 middle names.
Yes, and I'm just like, come on now, let's just we know we calling you one name. Let's just stick to one name.
Yeah, let's
So
just
yeah,
okay. I like that.
exactly.
What do people always tell you that you're good at aside from makeup and hair?
What I'm good. Oh, people usually call me a nurturer, or they call me like a super calming type of person. Um, so yeah, so sometimes when I'm working on people, sometimes people fall asleep, they get super
Mm.
relaxed. Um, I I had one girl start moaning in her chair. I was like,
Doing
oh,
makeup or
okay.
hair?
Yeah, doing her hair, and I was just like, oh, okay. So I guess I'm a nurturing type of person. But that's usually what people say, and I'm like, okay, that's cool, I guess. So yeah.
Okay. I like that. This used to be like I don't know if it's like just us in the beauty industry, but anytime I ask people that question, it's kind of like a consensus. A lot of people say the same thing. So I'm not sure if
Oh,
that's a quality that
really?
we have to have as like beauty professionals. Some of
I
us, not
think
all of
that's
us are like that, but it's
Yeah,
a
for
norm.
sure. I think
Yeah.
that's super helpful, just because I mean, we are face to face with some people sometimes, and in such close proximity. You want to make sure they feel at ease, at comfortable. You want to make sure, I mean, not only you're doing your job really well, but that they feel comfortable. So I think that comes with the territory. You got to make sure, your client feels safe and feels at ease. So you're right. It kind of comes with it.
Yeah. Okay. When is the last time that you did something for the first time?
Ooh, the last time I did something for the first time. What have I done? I don't know. It's been a long time, obviously. The last time I did something for the first time,
Trying new
I
food,
don't
new
know.
experiences, travel anywhere.
Hmm. Oh, actually, yeah, travel. Yes, I did recently go to. I went to London and Paris for the first time this year. So I went
Okay.
with my sister and I went with a couple friends. I initially went there to take a 3-day like hair class, but then Beyonce was also in town at the time. So I mean,
Mhm.
that was my first time seeing her in concert, plus traveling overseas. So that was like my first time, and that was earlier in May of this year. So
I love
so yeah,
that.
yeah. So traveling overseas and seeing Beyonce at the same time.
The Renaissance tour was
Yeah.
amazing.
Oh, that was everything. Like, did you get to see her?
I did, and I'm so happy
Oh,
she's
okay.
coming out with the documentary or whatever
I
because I was like, I need to see these
I already
visuals
bought my ticket.
again.
I
Yep.
know it's exciting.
I love it. I love it. So the last one, if you weren't a makeup artist and hairstylist, is there anything else you could see yourself doing right now?
If I wasn't in the beauty industry, I think I would be in education. That's like my third passion. So I think I just love seeing like the light bulb go off in people's heads when I explain something or when I show something, and then they're like, "Oh, I get." Like I love that moment. So I
Yeah.
think education would be a career. And for some reason I love flowers. Like if I could be a florist and like put
Mhm.
bouquets together, I feel like that would be like me in my 70s. Like when I'm
Ah,
like old and I can't use my hands anymore, I'm like, I'll just put little flowers together for people. So that
yeah.
would be my other thing for
I
sure.
love that. I love that. Do you have plans on retiring anytime in the
Oh
future? Because I feel
Lord.
like when I talk to like senior artists like Danessa, like Sanfine, I feel like they
Yes.
no plans on retiring. They want to just do it until they can't.
Wow. I mean, at the like, no, that's such a tricky, like, I mean, of course, like I do try to set up things to be like, okay, so when I'm older, maybe this will be a better route to go. So initially my plan was to join the union to go into TV and film,
Yeah.
and that would be my retirement. But I tried TV and film, and I will say I'm not a super patient person, standing on my feet for 16 plus hours. So I'm like, okay, that's maybe that
Not
won't
for
be
you.
it.
Hmm.
So right now, I'm kind of leaning more into possibly education might be the route I go, possibly once I hit like 60, 70. So it's just
Yeah.
kind of in the back of my mind, but it's not a for sure thing.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of a tinkling in my mind, just in case, I don't know, for some reason that I have an arm injury, in case, just backup plan, basically. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And then we also have to consider how the world is going to change. We have no idea what direction the world is going to go with
I
just everything.
know.
So it's kind of like
I
we have to
know.
stay on top of our toes and like pivot where we can.
100%. I know. So it's just like, I guess it's good to have a good ABC plan for who knows. You never know. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. How long have you
Hmm.
been a makeup artist now?
Oh man, this year will be 18 years. So since I was about 21, 2021, fresh out of high school, I was not paying attention in class. So I was just like doing makeup for my friends in high school for their proms. And so it kind of was just, it was a hobby, like it was something fun to do. And then I would say around college, like around 21, 22, that's when I started to understand like it could be a career and to take it seriously, and to like there was a school for it. Like it took me a while to kind of understand everything, because like YouTube was not super popping at that time. Like this was back in 2002,
Yeah.
2003. So it was a slow learning process. But it's been 18 years now so far. Yeah, a crazy ride.
That's amazing. And you have a crazy impressive like dream resume. Like I looked at I went
Oh,
to your website, right? And it has your resume on
oh,
there. And
yes.
I clicked on it one because I feel like that's a challenge of mine. Anytime somebody asks for a resume, I'm like, I don't know what it's supposed to look like. Like it's supposed to look like a real resume. So when I
Oh,
saw yours, I was
yeah.
like, oh, this makes sense. But then when I
Got
look at
you.
all the stuff you have done, I'm like, this is like a dream.
Thank you.
Like how like would you summarize your journey so far between the 18 years? Like if you could put it into like two words.
Oh man, the it's been challenging yet fun.
Challenging yet fun. I love
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Because I feel like every year when I think I got it, I don't. When I think I figured something out, I don't. Like every year I'm learning something, I'm gaining something and learning something. Like so it's always a give and a take, it's an ebb and a flow. It's always a balance.
Mhm.
And then, maybe during pandemic for sure, oof, that was a down year. I was just like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know how to figure this out. But then later on that year, people started calling artists for Zoom calls, and to get them ready for their business meetings, and to get them ready
Right.
for iPhone photo shoots. And so then it became an upswing. So it's always an ebb and a flow. So I would
Yeah.
say that that would sum it up in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you primarily work with celebrities now, or do you kind of do a little bit of both, like celebrity work and everyday people?
Um, Well, when I first moved to Los Angeles, that was not my primary goal. Like I didn't want to just do celebrities. It just kind of happened that way. I was
Mm-hmm.
assisting a lot of amazing MUAs. And then there were times if they weren't able to do the job, I would step in and help out.
Yeah.
Um, so say for instance with Snoop, I thought it was supposed to be a one-time thing, but then when I
Hmm.
met him, he was just like, "Oh, hey baby girl, I like what you do." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So then so now I've become like his regular, and I see him like once a month or so. So no, like I didn't plan on it, but it just kind of happened that way.
Hmm.
Wait, and I feel like you asked me something. There was something else you asked me. You were
Mm,
like, or
girl, who
maybe,
knows?
okay. I feel like he was going somewhere, but that's okay. But yeah, basically, yeah, celebrity. I don't only do celebrities.
Oh, if you work with
I
celebrities and just like regular
Yes,
everyday people, yeah.
correct. So it ebbs and flows. Like just yesterday, I was helping out another makeup artist at a wedding. So I still do bridal from time to time. I don't advertise it that much.
Yeah.
But primarily, I would say lately, it kind of goes between celebrity, red carpet before the strike. And I do a lot of commercial and TV production from time to time as well. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. Yeah.
Okay. Were you when you moved to California, were you intentional about the people that you were assisting, or like did you already have like relationships with them?
Oh, well, yes and no. When I first moved here, I was actually assisting AJ Crimson for a bit.
Oh,
Um, rest his soul. So he
mhm.
was one of the artists that like whenever he came to Chicago, I'm like, hey, I'm your right hand. I'll do whatever you need to do. I got you. And then before moving there, I was come to LA every once in a while just to like help him with some projects and to just help him out. And then when I officially moved here, I like he was doing his own thing working on Black Panther. So he was taking off on his career.
Right.
But just talking to him, talking to Ashanta Sharif, she was another amazing mentor.
Yeah.
Um, and then I talk to Sir John every once in a while as well. So they kind
Mhm.
of helped give me a good guideline when I moved here. And
Yeah.
then there were a couple new people I met along the way, like Seisha Beachman.
Yes, I
She
should.
she was working with Chadwick for a while. So there was a couple people that literally like they held out their hand, they kind of showed me the ropes, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just figure it out from here. So
Yeah.
yeah, shout out to the mentors for sure. Like they were incredible.
Yeah. Like, what is the real behind working with celebrities? Because I always feel like a lot of us, or not necessarily, I didn't really have a interest or whatever. When
Yeah.
they come. But I feel like a lot of people, when they see the glitz and the glam, it's like, oh, I want to be a celebrity artist, but they don't necessarily know what goes into it. Do you think it's something that
Hmm.
could be like helpful to their career, or you got to be built like, or can it hurt you if you're not built
Oh,
for it?
I mean, it honestly, it's it varies on a few factors. Like, it depends. I will say I chose to work with men.
Okay. Okay. Hey, I know you're enjoying the episode, but I need you to do something really, really important for me, like right now. I need you to leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and let the people know how much you love the Friends of Beauty podcast. See, in the podcast streets, I'm going to let you know something. If you don't leave a review, then people don't know that the show exists, and then the show won't grow. Reviews are so essential to the continued success of the Friends of Beauty podcast, and plus, I really just want to know what you think about the podcast. I appreciate all the DMs, but a 5-star review would be even better. I would love to read your review on the show and give you a shout out for being a loyal listener. And if it's not a 5-star review, don't even worry about it. All right, don't even worry. Just go ahead and send me an email, honey. We ain't got time for that. If you're watching me on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and even leave a comment to share a takeaway from something that you learned so far. If you don't subscribe or give a thumbs up, then the YouTube streets don't know that the Friends of Beauty podcast exists either. You see how this is going? This is a group effort, and I appreciate you so, so much. Okay, I'm done. I'm done. Let's go ahead and get back into the episode.
It's
That
a
makes sense.
it's a distinct difference
Mm,
between working with male celebrities versus women
I
celebrities.
love
Because
that.
women, oops, sorry. Because with women, like once they like you, they will stick with you, and you got to be with them every day, all day, and you pretty much don't have a life.
Got
With
you.
men, it honestly depends on the guy, but you'll usually I'll see them like once a month, once a week sometimes. So you have a little bit more leeway to live your own life, to kind of work other jobs you want to work. So men kind of are a lot more relaxed. And even when I do their makeup, like they don't really care what you do, is they fully trust you, and they're like, I know you got it. I fully trust you. With
Yeah.
women, sometimes it's a distrust at times, and sometimes they want to do their own brows, or sometimes they want to do their own lip liner, or they want to do their own. So like it's you kind of have to, you know, figure it out with some,
Yeah.
not all women, but some women. So I would say, yeah, I was intentional with particular clientele, and I just wanted to just kind of just work the market and kind of tiptoe my way in. Like I didn't want to
Yes.
fully go all the way in just yet. So I would say, yeah, yeah, I guess if you have the tolerance to work with anyone, then yes, it could definitely be for you. I would say since adding celebrity clientele to my portfolio, it has helped me get other clientele that I would have never expected, like the Versace and Gucci campaign. Like those are dream clients I always wanted to have, but didn't
Yeah.
expect it until I added celebrities into my roster. So I
Right.
guess it depends on where you're trying to go with your career and what you plan to do. And I would say I definitely love fashion. Like I'm a fashion girly,
Yeah.
always watching Fashion Week. So anytime I can incorporate a little bit of fashion into my book, like that's definitely my main thing. And then if celebrities are part of it, I'm like, okay, that's cool. But it definitely was not like my first frame of mind when I
Yeah.
first moved here. So yeah.
And I absolutely love what you said about working with men in particular. That never even like dawned on, like I had an
Mhm.
aha moment where you just said that. I'm like, duh, because
Oh,
I feel like,
really?
yeah, because I feel like you said with women, it would just be a little bit more like hands on because they want
Yes.
to be in glam all the time if they have somewhere to go. Whereas men, they
Mhm.
like only when I need it. Like I'm not about to just
Yeah.
be walking around, downtown
Right.
LA with, makeup on if I don't need to, you know?
For sure.
And
Yeah.
then also, how do you feel about, okay, you're working with men. How do you approach it if you're working with men who are like in relationships or married? Because I was working on a production. I was just telling somebody about this last week. I was working on a production before with a company that does like a lot of reality show stuff
Yeah.
like years ago. And I remember them telling us specifically, like the girls, like, don't dress too, like this,
Oh,
because, you
wow.
don't want to, make the woman feel uncomfortable. And like, have you ever experienced
Oh,
anything like that? Like, if you're working on a
wow.
male celebrity that's like married, the wife might be like, okay, and I got to be around because
Oh,
I want to make sure she'll look better than me, or, they're not
I
flirting, you
I
know.
will say the women that are with the guys I work with, they are so secure in themselves.
Hmm.
They barely even notice I'm there most of the time. I mean, they'll
Right.
say hello and keep it moving, but at the so far at this time, no, they haven't given me any issues with how I dress or with how I act, or like they've been super chill and super cool with me. So I mean, I'll
Yeah.
just say my hellos. I'm like, hey, if you ever need glam, I got you. But they tend to have their own teams and their own situation. But so far, luckily, no, it hasn't been any crazy weird issues, thankfully,
Yeah.
because I would have been like, you know what, I'm gonna just I'm gonna head on out.
Okay. Get somebody else to do it, period.
Right. Yeah. So far, no issues, luckily.
Okay. Good.
Hmm.
I love that you focus on male grooming because I feel like as a makeup artist, that's one thing that anytime that I post something with male grooming, people are
Yeah.
like, how do you do male grooming? Like what, like a lot of people, okay, I guess when we learn how to do makeup, it's always focused on women. So when they do come
And
across a
the big
man,
glam, the glitter, that's
yeah.
kind of the typical side of makeup. But what a lot of people don't realize with male grooming, it's actually a lot more technical to make it look like they're not wearing makeup. Like it's a craft, it's an art to it. And I mean, next year I'm going to start planning on hosting classes to really go into it. But I want to kind of show people like men don't need to be super beat. Like it's more so about a skin. Just making sure the skin is effortless, fresh, clean, and making sure they feel comfortable in it, and making sure they don't feel too powdery or too, no, not too much. Because I
Yeah.
would say my first male client, it was actually, well, it's someone from Chicago when I was in my Chicago days,
Hmm.
and he was a celebrity as well. I'm not gonna even say it, but it was my first time doing male grooming, and I like powder beat him, and he was just like, "Why am I orange?" And I was like, "Oh no!" So I learned quickly from my first time. I was like, "Okay, I got to do a little less and a little," and I just learned, just from humble experiences, just to,
Yeah.
take it back, take it back, take it back until I finally fine tuned on my technique for it. And I'm like, okay, now I know less is more. Skin is always in. Make sure the skin looks breathable and
Hmm.
just nice and complete.
Yeah. Do
So
you
yeah,
actually like put any products on them foundation wise, concealer, or you just focus on skincare?
honestly it depends. I would say for specifics, like with Snoop, he's a smoker. We all know he's
Yeah.
a smoker. His skin is dry, really, really,
Okay.
really dry. So for him, I do extreme moisture. Sometimes I use La Mer, like heavy duty moisture, moisture, moisture. And then for him, I'll just go in really light with concealer, like around the eye area. And then just a little bit of powder because he really does not need powder. Versus Dwayne, he's an athlete, so he gets sweaty. He's shiny. So I have to
Okay.
make sure I do the opposite for him. So he's more so I do I don't know if you've heard of this brand Nano Blur. But it was created
Nano
by this,
blur.
yeah, Nano Blur, Nano Blur. I
Ooh.
think it's at Target. But it was created by this makeup artist, Danny, I think it's Danny Debbie, but she was basically one of the creators for Euphoria, one of the
Oh,
makeup creators.
okay.
So she created this nano blur, and then when I found it, I was like, oh yeah, no, this is perfect because it creates like a really clean, almost literally like blurs out the pores, and it helps it look like it's like an anti-shine basically, and it helps me use less foundation for him. So like it's more so a lot of blurring skincare to kind of like
Y-
blur out the shine, and then I
y-
do a little bit of foundation and a little bit of concealer. So for I guess for like athletes or anyone that's a little bit more on the sweaty side, I do a little bit more skincare to take away the shine plus makeup. And then for someone that's super dry, it's more skincare to give it more moisture. So it depends. Like everyone's not the same. So I kind of have to cater it to each client. And even
mhm.
like when I go and see them, like they have their own kits. Like I have a personal kit for
Oh,
each client that I have. So like everything's already like separated and it's there, and they have their own brushes, they have their own everything.
oh,
So
I love that.
yeah, yeah.
I
So I
love
hope that
that.
makes sense.
Yeah. When you start teaching again, can you do one for Friends in Beauty too? Can we like partner?
Oh, I got you. I'm coming. I Because
Okay.
actually one of my sisters just moved to DC, so I'm gonna be coming to that area probably next year at some point. So
Yeah. So
yeah,
let me know because we could probably set up something. First of all, we have to link up in person. That's one. But we
absolutely,
could
yeah,
probably set up
yeah, yeah.
something while you're here if you're down for it.
I'm down. Oh, absolutely, I'm so
Okay.
down. Yeah.
Yes. So let's talk
Hmm.
about you getting your cosmetology license, girl. Like, what
Yeah.
made you get your what made you do that and start doing hair?
Well, it was a couple reasons. So when I first moved to LA, this was 2018.
Okay.
I thought my portfolio was really like top notch at that time. Like I was working with Michelle Williams. I was working with a couple people, and I'm like, okay, like I'm in there. Like my portfolio is solid. But then when I approached different agencies and different people, I remember this one agency I went to, I showed them my portfolio and they were like, "Oh, your work looks pedestrian." And I'm like, "Wait,
What does that
what?"
mean?
Basically, they were just like, "This looks super basic. Like, you need to step it up." And I'm just like, "Oh, okay." So,
What?
like, I just felt like I just wasn't getting what they were saying. And I'm like, well, clearly I'm not going to get any clients right now. So let me just go back to school and work on something. So honestly, I just felt so defeated because I just didn't know how to get like I knew I needed to like rebrand myself and completely redo my portfolio. And I'm like, I know that's going to take some time.
Yeah.
And so like I literally I had to take my website down and do test shoots to kind of get that LA look in a way.
Okay.
And so during that time, I was like, well, let me go back to school and get my Cosmo license. And then this was 2018, 2019. No, 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 no. This was 2019 when I first started school. So for about a year, I was learning cuts, color, everything, hair, skin, nails, everything. And then in 2020, pandemic hit. And I'm like,
Mm.
oh, okay. So here we
Good
go.
old panorama.
The panorama, yes. But I finished my Cosmo license in 2020. I would say like it was one of the most challenging things I did, but it helped me kind of get refocused back to myself in a way.
Hmm.
Um, and another reason why I chose Cosmo School, I was in a crazy relationship at the time, and
Okay.
I needed a reason to stay in LA. Like I needed a reason to. It was just it was I'll just say it was a crazy relationship, but
Hmm.
the guy was trying to force me to leave LA, and I was like, I'm not ready. Like I'm here for a purpose. I'm here for a reason. Like, and I need to stay. So like that
Yep.
was also another reason why I completed my Cosmo, because I was just like, I just need any reason to not be with him and to stay. And I'm thankful that I did. So I got out of that, thankfully. So
Thank God.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a couple of reasons, but yeah, but now I have hairstyling in my tool belt as a way, because I would see on set too many times people didn't know how to do black hair, point blank,
Mm.
period. I saw it way too many times, even during fashion week when I would go there, even during like a lot of events, I kept seeing it over and over. And I'm like, this
Yeah.
is, if they don't know what to do, I'm gonna just step in and help out however I can. So that's kind of
Yeah.
was my approach initially. And then it just kind of blossomed and grew over time. And so now sometimes I do celebrity hairstyling, sometimes I do, and I have like a salon suite where I do like private clients. So like if people have like a hair situation on set and they don't know how to fix it, they can come to me and then I can help and fix it for them. So
No.
so yeah, so it was just basically it was another notch on my tool belt. So yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy that people are still having hair situations on set. Like, what do you think that's about? Like,
Yeah.
because I always tell people it's not necessarily about people hiring Black people, because just because we Black
Oh
don't mean
no,
we know how to do
we're
Black
out
hair or
here.
Black skin. It's like the qualified people. Why are people how do you think, or why do you think people are slipping through the cracks and getting on like big
Uh,
sets?
it's a couple reasons. From what I see since I've been here, either if you're not active on social media, they won't find you. Or if you don't
Mm.
even have a social media account, they won't look for you. So, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I tell people, especially people that first move here or move anywhere, I'm like, I know you don't want to be active on social media like that, but that's kind of what people in LA are looking for. Like they were literally looking up hashtags for LA makeup artist or Atlanta makeup artist, or, wherever you're from, they're literally looking
Yeah.
for that. And if you don't pop up, then they don't know. Like they're just going to look for the first person that pops up. So
Mm-hmm.
that's something I realized. I mean, I was not a fan of social media when I first got here, but I realized that was kind of the tool and like the ticket to kind of get the consistent clientele going.
Yeah.
Um, but if you're not on social media like that, they're not going to find you. And sometimes, and a lot of times, they end up hiring friends versus talent. So like
Mm-hmm.
they'll easily get their friend in the room who don't know what they're doing, but they don't care because they got their
Hey,
friends
Nita.
in there. So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they'll get their friends, and most times they don't know what they're doing. And then I see what's going on, and I'm like, no, let's not put this little girl out here like this. Let's actually fix her hair. Let's do something. Get some edge control, something. So
Something.
yeah, so that it was just that's kind of what's basically what's going on.
That is crazy. So, what do you more so leaning towards now, hair or makeup?
I mean, makeup's still my first foremost love. Like I love, love,
Okay.
love being a makeup artist. Hair was more so something that came along the way. And it's become a growing passion. So I love taking care of people top to bottom, basically.
Yeah.
So any way I
Yeah.
can, I just like to be there.
Yeah. I talked to Sabrina. Her name is Sabrina Holdsworth Rowe. Sab's the good girl. I just had an interview with her a few weeks ago, but she
Okay,
explained it as, because she does both. So she explained it
nice.
as like makeup is more like painting and hair is more like sculpture. And
That
like
is
she likes
true.
to sculpt
Yes.
like every now and then. So she's more focused on hair than makeup, but she does both.
Got it. Okay, cool. Okay, I gotta add her now. That's
Yeah,
really
oh yeah, I'll
cool.
send you her page for sure. I was gonna
Hmm.
ask you, oh yeah, I wanted to circle back really quick to the portfolio thing. Like, what was
Yes.
it that you did differently from the pedestrian portfolio that you had to the one that you have now? Like, what stuff did you have to add to bring it up to their standard?
Oh, so a couple things. So I was doing a ton of test shoots with photographers that had that LA look. So like there's something different about the photographers here versus other places. Like sometimes they do really great studio lighting, and then they also do a lot of beachy kind of shots. So
Mm-hmm.
basically incorporating more of that into my book. Whereas before, like in Chicago, my book was mostly studio, and they're like, okay, so how does your makeup look in the sunlight? Like how does your makeup look in other weather? And I'm like, oh, well, that's something I didn't consider before. And so,
Yeah,
just incorporating more
like diversity.
different
Okay.
lighting, yeah, different lighting scenarios on different skin tones for men, for women, just kind of diversifying my portfolio and just expanding it a little bit more. And I will say, like, because my men's portfolio was so strong, that's what helped a lot of the clientele I have now trust that I knew what I was doing. So like like if they see it in your book, they can trust that you can do the job. So
Mhm.
I guess whatever kind of job you want to do, like I literally just did a test shoot that looked very much like a Target kind of campaign. I'm like, I would love to do more Target, more Nike, so like just
Yeah.
incorporating things that you want to, I guess, manifest into your
Mm-hmm.
work. So like
Mm-hmm.
testing up to make sure your book looks solid and it looks like the type of work that you want to do,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, I like that.
Hmm.
I love doing a mock shoot, like a mock beauty campaign or a mock
Yeah.
commercial
Oh,
ad or something
that's
like
my
that.
favorite. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's absolutely my favorite.
I
Hmm.
love doing it. So, like, what's the going rate for makeup in LA? Like, what are people paying to get their face done?
It depends.
Like, what's the range that you seen?
I would say when I first got here, I started at 200.
Mm-hmm.
And then I quickly learned like, oh, you can actually charge a little more. So I would say 200, 250 is kind of the average. Currently right now from like a do and go, I'll charge 350. So
Mm-hmm.
like, you know, after a couple of years, I kind of bumped it up a little bit more, a little bit more.
Yeah.
So but again, that kind of ranges. Like for some people with bigger followers, they could easily charge like 1,000 for like a do and go, or for like a in and out. Like, so honestly, like the sky is the limit out here. For like a full day rate, that also ranges. It ranges if you're doing a photo shoot, or if you're doing a music video, or if you're in
Mm-hmm.
their house all day. Like, it kind of depends on a few factors, but for a full day, I say just for makeup only, you could start at like 1,200, 1,500, and you could
Mm-hmm.
honestly go up to like 5,000 if you wanted
Yeah.
to. So
Yeah.
honestly, the sky, it's literally, it's limitless. Like, you can kind of,
Mm-hmm.
it depends on the budget. You know, it depends on the client you're working with. It depends on a few factors, but it's a big range. Like, you could kind of
Yeah.
charge whatever you want,
I
honestly.
love that. I love that. Do you have any advice for makeup artists in particular? Because I get this question a lot where people kind of start off low and then they, their skill
Yeah.
set builds and, everything, their kit changes and everything. And they're like, I know I need to charge more, but I'm afraid of losing clients, or, I'm
And
afraid
you
of this.
will.
That's what I tell them
And
all the
you
time. You
will.
will, but like, what advice would you give them to like be confident in raising their rate, and then also being able to gauge like where they should kind of set their prices at?
Oof. I mean, well, because I remember when I first started, I was charging 75 for a full face. I remember the
Mhm.
day when I changed it to 100, people were dropping like flies. And I'm like, it's just a couple extra bucks. Like, what do you like? But I thought about it, like, you know what? Maybe those are not the clients for me. So you got to change
Mhm.
your mindset and be like, let me seek out the type of clients that are willing to pay for what I'm worth, for what
Yeah.
I'm charging. So yeah, don't be scared. Like, just try it. Like, if you want
Mhm.
to bump it up to 150, want to bump it up to 175 next year, just bump it up. Just see what happens. And if they get priced out, they get priced out. But if they respect what you do and they respect your work, they're going to pay for it. And they're going to get their coins together and figure it out. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I used to do that all the time. Like when I was ready to raise my rate, I would tell
Yeah.
myself, like, the next person that reaches out, I'm gonna tell them the new price and just see,
Yes.
just see what
Just to
they, and
kind of
if
see
they,
what
and
happens.
every single time I did it, the person was like, okay, like, okay.
Because they respect what you do and they love your service, and they'll
So,
continue to pay for it. So yeah,
mhm.
just don't be afraid to price yourself out. Just keep charge up, charge up.
Yeah,
They'll figure it out.
yeah,
If
for
they're
sure.
coming to you for a luxury service, because I think, makeup and like having your makeup done, having your that, like, that's a luxury, and
Hmm.
people should understand, like, this is the cost to be the boss, essentially.
Yeah, you want to
So
look like a
you got to,
boss?
yeah, exactly. So like, if they're willing to put their coins together to get one of them Telfar purses, and one of them, if they can get their coins together to get their face and their hair done, so
Exactly,
yeah,
exactly.
they'll
What
figure it
was
out.
Yeah, what was the transition like for you leaving Chicago and then going to LA, as far as any highs or lows of just working
Oh
in a new
yeah.
city?
Yes, because I was born and raised in Chicago, lived in Chicago my whole life.
Hmm.
Um, and at that time, my mom actually got remarried and she moved away from Chicago. So then in my head, I thought, okay, maybe if she's good, maybe I can fly and do my own thing too. So that was kind of the little thing that kind of popped in my head at the time.
Yeah.
But before, if she never left, I would have never left. I can guarantee you that. I was too scared to leave. But
Yeah.
just seeing her, live her life and move on and start fresh with her marriage, I was like, you know what? Maybe I could start a fresh life as well. So that kind of was the kicker for me.
Okay.
But yeah, it was scary. Like, like I said, I was in a crazy relationship at the time. So I moved with someone to LA, but then I stayed and he left.
Got you.
So it was, yeah, like, I was losing friends. I was losing, I was losing a lot of things. Like, I had a studio back in Chicago that I left behind, but I knew I wanted to get my career to another level, and I just not had to leave a lot of things behind, which I was really scared to do. But something in my gut just kept telling me, like, I gotta go, like, I gotta do this, I
Mm-hmm.
gotta get out there. So yeah, the first move is not gonna be fun. I had a good amount of savings that was gone in a month. So like, you're gonna be broke, you're gonna be in the negatives. It's going to happen. Just prepare yourself for the storm. Um, because I mean, basically, yeah, the storm's gonna come, but just get the best boat. Get the best
Okay.
boat so you can rock that storm the best way you can, basically.
I love it.
Um, So yeah, just basically trying to just get myself together little by little was the hardest part, but I feel like I'm so much more of a better artist, a better friend, a better person just going through all that.
Yeah.
And now I've been here for about 5 years, and I will say it took a good 5 years to finally get the good clientele coming and to get a consistency going. So it does take a while. The first year or two, a lot of people end up leaving because they don't see that instant result. But I'm like, if you're here for
Mhm.
the long ride, just you got to stick it out. Got to stick the
Yeah.
course out.
Yeah.
So,
Do you think it's your
mhm.
forever city, or you think you'll move again or back to
Oh
Chicago?
no, no, it's not. It's well, my initial goal moving here was to be here for 5 years and to see what's gonna happen. But I will say it took a good 5 years to kind of get it going. Like pandemic and strike, like a lot of things happened that set me back, set me 2 steps back, basically. So now I had to push it up a bit, and I'm thinking, okay, maybe I'll stay here for 7 years. But I miss home so much. I miss my family. I miss everybody. So
Yeah.
eventually I do want to move back at some point. I just don't know when, but this is not my forever home. It's my temporary home for now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
might even consider coming to the East Coast. Like I've always wanted to work in New York. That was always kind of in the back of my mind, like a place that I wanted to try out for a little bit.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but like moving here, sorry, moving here helped me to expand my mind and to open myself up to more opportunities and to more possibilities. And I'm just kind of open, and just kind of seeing where the wind takes me.
Yeah.
So I know
Yeah.
we'll see. But I mean, I definitely miss home, and I'm gonna move back at some point. So I just
Yeah.
don't know when. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Can you talk about, okay, so one thing I've noticed with being a
Okay.
makeup artist is that personal development, or just personally, I have grown so much, like as a person on the journey more than like
Yes.
anything. Do you do anything in particular that contributes to you as like Andrea, as the person that in turn like nourishes your career in a sense? Like you have to be a certain type of person to be able to even receive those type of jobs or be in the room.
Hmm.
Like what kind of work
Yeah.
did you do on yourself to be able to be in the position you're in now, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
What have I done to like better myself to be in these rooms?
Yeah.
Essentially,
Mm-hmm.
oof, being a better listener. Because I will say I have a tendency to like zone out sometimes. I'm like, especially if I'm in a big room with people, I get really nervous
Yeah.
and I try my best to um stay in the moment. But then there are times where I would say when in my younger days for sure, like I would just zone out and people tell me their name. I'm like, uh-huh, okay. Like I was not paying attention. So
Hmm.
paying attention and making sure I'm present, like that's been a big game changer for me. Like
Hmm.
when I'm in the rooms, because like now I'm getting people's contact information. Like if I'm talking to someone, like, oh my god, oh you're the head of whatever, whatever. Okay, great. Let's do a TikTok together. Let's do a video together. Whatever.
Yeah.
And then I do purposeful networking now, and I think
Mhm.
that's what's helped me be a much better artist overall.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, just being more intentional, paying attention. Um, Oh, and I also do a lot more self-care. Like I really try my best to keep my Sundays and my Mondays off. It's hard in this industry, but I
Yeah.
really do my best to keep 2 days off now. Whereas before, like I would be working sometimes a month straight,
Yeah.
and it would get, my schedule would get really crazy, and I wouldn't have time for anything. I wouldn't have time to get a, manicure, anything. And I'm like, okay, this is nuts. Like, why am I overworking myself? Like, I don't like.
Hmm.
I just didn't like that I was doing too much, basically trying to chase a dollar, essentially. So I'm just like,
Yeah.
you know what? I'm gonna just take some days off, figure myself out,
Yeah.
have some me time, have some self-care time. So now I call it my soap Sundays.
I
So like
love
on
that.
Sundays, I make sure I have my bubble bath, I shampoo my hair, get my nails out. Like it's my full like laundry, like that's my full day to like reset. And then Monday
Yeah.
is my chill day, but then I also try to do like a little social media, or I try to do a little bit of something and just keep it real chill, just stay in the house, just keep it cute.
Yeah.
So I think that's essential. Keep having self-care as well. Incorporate it as best as you can, basically, and don't burn yourself out.
Hey, I have a serious question for you. You trust me, right? Yes? I heard you say yes, right? You heard them say yes, right? Okay, listen. If you said yes and you have a product or service based business that you want to expose to a loyal and engaged audience, then consider letting me share your business here on the Friends of Beauty podcast. Studies have shown that podcast listeners tend to trust the host, making the advertising messages more authentic and credible. And my favorite part, which a lot of people don't know, is the longevity. Unlike traditional ads that have a limited lifespan and disappear after your budget has been exhausted, my podcast episodes are available indefinitely. This means that your ad will continue to reach new listeners long after the initial episode airs. And you already know my consistency is off the chain. I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. And as the Friends of Beauty podcast continues to grow, your brand will continue to reach a new audience. That's how it works here. So don't wait any longer. I want to expose your brand to my Friends in Beauty. All you have to do is click the link below with all of the details and we can make it happen. Anyways, let's go ahead and get back to the episode.
Yeah.
Exactly. I totally agree. So look, I have
Mhm.
a never have I ever question for you. It's nothing
Okay.
like personal or scary, but
Yeah.
if you've done this before, share the story behind it. If not, share your go-to products that will be an alternative to this, I would say. All right, so this is the question. I
Ooh,
have a question for
okay.
you. So this is the question. So never have I ever, and this is very messy. I'm being like I'm poking the bear, but never have I ever used milk of magnesia on a client. Have you ever done that before?
I have. I sure did. I saw, I don't know if it was a YouTube, it was something I saw. And this was back in maybe
The olden days.
2007. Like it was my
Mhm.
beginner days, beginner. But I know I did. And then their skin turned ghost white. And I'm just like, oh, okay. Trying to calm them down, like, oh, it's fine. It's fine. But I did that for maybe like a month or two. Like it was a short time in my career when I did it. And then after a while, I was like, there's literally products that are way better
Yeah.
and does the same thing. And I'm like, oh, well, never mind. I don't need to do this. So yes, I definitely did it and I won't do it again.
I said I'm poking the bear because I posted this thread the other day because I was literally listening to a podcast and a podcast I listen to all the time, and the two hosts were like raving about getting their makeup done. And I know the makeup artist. That's the crazy thing. I'm not
Oh,
gonna say her name. I
okay.
know the
Okay.
makeup artist. So when they said her, I was like, oh my God, yeah, I know it was good. And they was like, yes, and she used milk of magnesia. And our makeup lasted all day. And I was like, and I literally just made the thread like in the split second of listening. I'm like, I honestly and truly can't believe that people are still using milk of
People still use
magnesia.
it.
And I was like, I don't
Mhm.
give a who you are. I'm judging you because, like you said,
Okay,
so many different
right.
products out on the market now that are not going to damage your skin. And I
Yes,
posted it the other day on my Instagram, and girl, it was only one person who was trying to be combative, in the
of
comments, but
course. Of
people
course.
will
Because they're
fight you
embarrassed and they don't want to
for
say.
yeah, people were like ready to fight for going against milk and magnesia. This one lady responded, it was like, I've been using it for 20 years, with my Olay, and my skin is still good. I'm like, okay, girl, that's good. And I told people, I said, that's good for you. Like, if you want to use it on
Yes.
yourself, but I don't feel like makeup artists should be pulling that out of their kit and putting that on
No.
people's face.
No.
I
No.
said,
I would say the most comparable product I found was Mayron.
that Skin
I
Prep
think it's
Pro,
called Sweat. Yes. That was a game changer for me. When I
that
found
thing
that,
will
I'm like,
soak up
oh,
everything.
yes. Yeah. So that Mayron is the truth. And
Yeah.
I've been trying to switch people over to that. So I'm like, at least it's a little bit better for you. It's
Yeah,
not
it's
gonna
made for the skin.
burn your skin out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's made for the skin, not to help you poop.
Yeah.
So
Exactly right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
they will fight you over that. I learned my lesson. I said, ooh, okay.
All right.
That's what
Touchy
y'all.
subject.
Very touchy. Okay. I learned my
Oh
lesson.
man.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I know
That's
that you're with
funny.
an agency now too. You mentioned a little bit about your agency.
Yes.
That's one thing I feel like a lot of us don't really tap into until I don't know when. Like when did you know that you were ready to be with an agency?
Well, so when I was living in Chicago, I was with an agency for about 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it was one of my first agencies, and it was like a Midwest market. So we were like at that time I was doing like Kohl's and Sears and Shop Bop, and so like it was my introduction to commercial world. So
Yeah.
then coming out here, I'm thinking, oh, I'll just get right. Like it should be fine. And of course, no, it didn't happen like that. Like I interviewed, like I literally Googled all the agencies in LA and I called and tried to interview with every single one of them.
Uh-huh.
And about 5, including the one I'm with now, got back to me. But um the one I told you about that said like your portfolio is pedestrian, that was
Pedestrian.
one of them. And I was just like, oh, okay. So then I tried to like rearrange my book a little bit, and then I came upon Cloutier, and that's who I'm with now, Cloutier Remix. And they were the ones I could tell they were like, we see something in you, and we'd like to just basically invest in you. Like we want to see what you can do. Like, you know, we
Yeah.
had a great interview. It went by smoothly, and then they asked me my concerns or what I'm looking to do, what like where I'm trying to go with my portfolio. And I told them, I was just like, I mean, I would love to try to do every award show. I would love to try to get some celebrities in my book, like just things I've never done before. I want to try to stretch myself and
Yeah.
see what I can do. And they said, okay, you know what, we'll give you a chance. And so I started off as an assistant for them, and that's when I was assisting Saisha, and I assisted Francesca Talat as well. So like they kind of just put me into the big leagues, and one of my first jobs through them was Black is King. And so I was literally shaking, shaking in
Oh
my
my.
boots when they called me that. They called and they were just like, okay, so we got your first job. And I'm like, okay, cool. What is it? And then they were like, so you're going to be on set for B. And I'm like, B, who? And then they were like, we can't say the full name yet, but, and then they sent the call sheet and I was like,
That's insane.
I was screaming. So that was my first official assisting job with them. And I got to work with them for 2 days. So we worked on Mood Forever and Brown Skin Girl. So we got to work on it was me and maybe 10, 12 other makeup artists at the time. But it was a huge production. Like it was literally 100 different dancers we had to work on, 100 different background people, you know, like just it was endless. Like it was like we would do one person and keep going, keep going, keep going all day. But it was incredible. It was beautiful. Like it was an amazing experience. And then Saisha, basically she gave them the thumb up, like, okay, she's cool. Like she paid attention, she was on time, she was great. And then because of her, that's what kind of got me to become one of their lead artists.
Mm.
So I would say like anyone that's looking to I guess enhance their book or just try something different. I mean, you know, just give it a try. You never know. I mean, I
Yeah.
didn't know what they were looking for until they kind of told me like, you know, you need to add a little bit more diversity, maybe you need to add they kind of gave me advice on what to add versus other agencies really didn't tell me what to do.
Right.
So I would say like don't be set on one agency, like shop around, get different opinions, get different feedback, because what works for one agency may not work for somebody else. Everyone's kind of looking for something different, but the one that I found, like they were the most communicative.
Communicative. Yeah.
Communication. Their communication was great. And they were the most receptive to just having me on board and helping me kind of understand the industry.
Yeah.
And then what was also helpful is a lot of the women in my agency, they've all been models before, or they've been photographers, like they've been in the industry, so they kind of have a sense of how it works. And
Yeah.
it's an all women's agency, so I'm just like, hell yeah, let's do this.
Girl power.
Right, we run the world. So like it was just really great and sweet to work with them and to continue working with them. And I've been with them for 4 years now.
That's amazing.
So yeah, they're incredible. They've been great, and they've just been basically literally pushing me to like work with these people that I normally wouldn't work with before. So
Yeah.
I appreciate them for that, for pushing me out my shell, basically.
Dang, and the opportunities are endless, it seems like. Are there any cons to being with an agency?
I would say,
Not them in particular, but just like in
yeah,
general.
no, I'm trying to think. What I would say in my former agency, what I did not like was they didn't, I was in an exclusive contract, meaning any
Mm.
job I worked, I had to send it to them. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, well, I'm not going to make any money. Like, I can't send every single thing your way. Like, that's not fair
Right.
versus
And you
who
didn't
I'm
get
with
this for me. I
now.
got this for myself.
Right. Yeah. Versus who I'm with now, they flat out even say in the contract, there's like, any job you find for yourself is for you. Like, we don't have any business touching that. So I would say that's something to look out for, making sure you're not signing an exclusive contract, because you may sign onto something where you're stuck and you didn't read the fine print. And then you're kind of having to give away money rather than making your own money.
Yeah.
So that's something to look out for, just like exclusive contracts and making sure they don't take too much of a percentage. So my agency, they take 20%, but then there are some that do 30% or 40%. So like, you want to make sure like you keeping some of the money to yourself and they're not taking too much. But 20% is like the standard. That's like kind of normal all around.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And you've done the Oscars, Grammys, Emmys, the Met
I
Gala.
did. Big thanks to them. And there was another client I had outside of them that I got to do the Grammys for the first time. I was working with Taylor Parks, and she's a songwriter for like Ariana Grande and for Victoria Monet. So she's like an amazing songwriter. And so my first job with her was actually for free. And I was just like, that was the time when I first moved there. And I'm like, I'm just trying to just get my name out there, do whatever. So it was a free job. And then after that, she trusted me. And then she started paying a little bit more, paying a little bit more. And then she was like, hey, the Grammys are coming up. Let's do this. I'm like, oh, so you trust me. So that was my first time. I was super excited. She kind of gave me creative freedom. She wore this big, crazy pink dress. And she was just like, I just want something like sparkly. She was like, I don't know, do your thing. And that was the first time anyone like fully trusted me to do that and was just like I would say a woman fully trusted me to just do whatever. And I'm like, okay, I got you. Cool. I know exactly what to do. So I did this little sparkly liner on her. She loved it. It was super cute. And it got like reposted on Vogue.com. And like it kind of just, that's kind of was my start to red carpet, like working with Taylor Park. And so she's been a blessing. She was a sweetheart. And then she was like my introduction into the entertainment world, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And then there were then the Oscars I got to do with Dwayne Wade. And usually with him, like he's always just super cool, super chill. He's just like, just do whatever, it's fine.
Yeah.
And then the Met Gala, that was my biggest award show, which was scary. It was so scary because I'm sure you've seen those pictures where they like zoom in on the faces at the Met Gala, and I'm just like, oh my God, like I got to make sure.
I'm always just wondering, like, what are y'all doing when all of that stuff is? Are like y'all just standing off to the side while they're taking pictures and
right? But I
you get
was
to go inside. Like, what do you do?
Right. What for the date of? I guess like pretty much a lot of the celebrities are in like 2 different hotels in New York, and so it was me and his team. We all went to the one hotel, but the elevator was so slow. It took forever to get up to his room. But by the time we got there, it was like a 2-hour process. He had his barber. He had a manicurist. He had Jason Bolden, his wardrobe stylist.
Okay.
And then me for makeup. So it was all hands on deck. We made sure he was super clean, and for that day, I made sure his skin was nice and cool because like he's a sweater. So like I brought these I usually post it on my page, but it's called Lil Fox. Like, yeah, and I put it in the freezer so his skin was super cold, his pores were super tight. So like that's kind of the trick I would say for red carpet, like making sure their skin is super duper cold. So then the products can stay on better and they sweat a little bit less. And sure enough, like soon as I saw him on the carpet, he was fine. He was cool as a cucumber. And I was like, oh, thank God.
Yes.
So he looked great. But that was one of the scariest ones for sure.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm always nervous. Like if I had to do something red carpet, like the perfection that you have to have for it to read well on camera. I would be so nervous. I have like one other like major question before I wind down and let you go because I don't want to hold you too long. But when you mentioned that you did the girls' makeup for free, I was like, only because what I'm seeing now is like a lot of art, like you've been doing makeup for 18 years and you did something for free. I'm coming across a lot of new artists who think they too good to like do something for free. Or I mean, and then also what I wanted to ask you about the doing it for free.
Yeah.
As far as your discretion, or do you get a gut feeling as to, okay, this person I can do for free? Because I used to come, like when I haven't done it in a while. But I would still do it for some people. Where you'll get somebody that's of some significance and they're like, oh, I'll post it or I'll tag you, like do an exchange type of thing. And then they never tag me. Or they tag me after. What they'll do is they'll literally post it. I've seen this several times, and this is why I'm kind of hesitant sometimes to do it still.
Oh, I know.
They'll say they'll post you, but they'll post the picture get all these likes and comments, and then
and
they'll
don't
come
tag
back
me.
later and tag you
I
when
know,
everybody
but
done.
I'll get you exposure, that type of thing.
So how do
It's
you
very much a gut feeling because I've
discernment?
had, oh, absolutely, it's a gut feeling because I've had a lot of like like reality TV stars,
Hmm.
sometimes really big celebrities, like they'll reach out through Instagram and be like, "Hey, can you do this for free?" And it's very much a gut feeling, and if I don't feel it, I'm like, "No, I'm good." Or I'll be like, "Here's my rate," or
For
something like
me,
that.
it's more so like I know for sure that y'all got the budget more than
Yes,
so.
exactly. Yeah, I do my research on them. I literally look at their Instagram, I Google them, and I'm like, okay, they could afford it. For this situation, she was doing her first album, and I was new to the city, so I was just
Hmm.
like, it's a one time thing. If I don't see you again, that's cool. But then I ended up working with her for 4 years after that. So it was just a
Wow.
one time thing, and it was a one time. Well, I thought it was going to be a one time thing, but then it turned out to be like she was like one of the biggest investments ever, and then
Right.
led me to the Grammys. We worked over, like we were over all over the place. She flew me out to other places, so it
Love
was
it.
one of those gut feelings where I'm like, well, I could tell she's about her business and she's working with some really reputable people. So let me just give this a try and see how this goes.
Hmm.
And then that's kind of how it continued from there. And we built a relationship off that.
I love that. I love that. So take heed. I think it is like intuition. To
It
be
is
like, okay, I can
100%.
do this. But some people really
Yeah.
think when they too good, girl. They be like, it's crazy to me because I used to do so much free stuff, like shoots, like even you mentioned testing and
Oh yeah, I
you know,
still test all the time.
but
Yeah.
these young girls, they want their coins. Okay.
Which is true, and you should always get paid. I fully agree. But especially with testing, like I always test with like photographers, like if I love their style, or if I want to try something, a different makeup technique, or if I want to challenge myself and try a crazy hairstyle, or no, if I want to just try something, I'm like, I'm down and I'm open to it and I don't mind.
Yeah.
Or if I could see something, if I could see myself benefiting from the relationship in a way, I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna just give it a try and just see how it goes. But it's always a gut feeling. Like I feel you just know
You
if
know.
it's gonna work out or not, and then just trust your initial first thought and go for it.
Yeah. Yeah. How do
Yeah.
you feel about net 30 and net 60 and them things?
Oh, I'm sick of it. I want my money, and I want it now.
That's so funny.
I'm sick of it. No, I really it's one of those unavoidable things, especially when you're working commercial jobs, like working for, I'm not even gonna say it, but working for bigger companies, sometimes unfortunately, yes, you got to do the net 30, net 60, and it's just kind of out of your hands at that
Yeah.
point. So I can't stand it, but that's kind of how it is sometimes, which is why I'll do weddings on the weekends sometimes, or just different jobs to kind of like make sure the bills are paid, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. This has been such a great conversation. I don't even want to let you go for real.
No, we can keep talking.
I would love to know though, like, what do you want your legacy to be as far as the beauty industry goes? The
Oh
contribution that you
wow.
plan on, leaving with the beauty industry with education, your artistry, your craft,
Oof, that's a big question. My legacy. Oof. Oh no, I don't know.
a living legacy. It doesn't have to be like you have to, perish.
I'm thinking when I'm dead and gone. I don't know. Well, I would say, don't limit yourself. I would say
Hmm.
that would be my legacy. Don't limit yourself because I never would have imagined getting into hairstyling. I never would have imagined even moving to LA.
Yeah.
But I opened myself up to the possibilities of anything, and I'm like, I just want to see how it goes. So
Hmm.
just be open. What's the saying? I feel like Bruce Lee says something. Be open like water. I don't know. Something he says. Be free like water, something. But basically be open to possibilities, and you never know where it can take you, or who you're going to meet, or where you're going to meet someone. You just never know. So
Yeah.
just be open, I would say.
Yeah, I like that. Is there anything that's coming up next for you that you can share?
Ooh. Not well, I am working on a class, but it's still like I'm still figuring stuff out. But
Hmm.
yes, I want to start teaching again, and that'll start happening like next year. But once I kind of get the plan solidified, I will absolutely let you know. So
Yes,
yeah,
let me
but
go.
education's in the future, basically.
I love that. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
before I let you go, I have to ask you the Friends and Beauty rapid fire questions. So whatever comes to your mind.
Okay.
And if you need to elaborate, that's fine too.
Okay.
So the first one is, what are the top three keys to your success so far?
Love, honesty, creativity.
I love that. How do you measure your success?
I don't. I don't have expectations.
Okay.
So that's how I measure it, if
Okay.
that
Okay.
answers it.
I like that. What's the best advice you've ever received, or a piece of advice that's just always stuck with you?
My mind is blank. um, 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 wash your chicken.
Ah,
Clean your My
I know
mind
that's
is
right.
blank. I don't know.
Wash your
Clean your
chicken.
chicken.
Because if you don't, then you might get sick and then you won't be able to do makeup.
Yes. I don't
You
know.
gotta show up for
Thanksgiving's
your
on my
client.
mind. I don't know.
I
So
love
yeah,
that.
clean your chicken, clean your greens, clean your food. There you go.
I
Clean
love
clean
that.
your brushes.
Clean your brushes. Oh my God. I did a whole reel
Oh yeah.
about that one. Clean your
See?
brushes.
Yeah. There you go.
I like
Exactly.
that. What advice would you give to another makeup artist right now who is just struggling with their business? They're not seeing the results that they want to see, and they're just like, maybe this just isn't for me anymore.
I would say don't get stuck in your rut. Try assisting other artists to see how they see things. Try a test shoot to just test things out. Like, just keep trying. Like, try every single avenue. Like, if you thought maybe you wanted to do bridal and maybe you're getting bored in bridal, try commercial work, try production work. There's literally 100 different avenues in makeup artistry. We have theater, we have drag makeup, we have so many different avenues, and I would say explore every possible avenue before you give up. So just try things in a different city, that's I would say that was something I was going through when I was in Chicago. Like, I felt kind of stuck at some point, and I felt like I was working with the same people, like it was getting too comfortable,
Hmm.
and I just wanted to kind of shake things up, and I'm glad I did. So I would say
Yeah.
just try every possible avenue that you can, challenge yourself, try something new, be
Hmm.
open.
Yeah, be open. I like that. What's a resource that has helped you in your business or helps you in your business that you can share with the friends and beauty community?
A resource like an app, or like
Yeah, it could be
just
an app,
book,
it could be
or
a book, it could be.
um I mean, my first thought was Instagram. So I mean, I and TikTok. I mean, I was not a big social media person when I first started. Like, I really didn't post a lot of pictures. Like, it wasn't until the past 5 or 6 years when I really started to try to get into it and make TikToks and all that. But sometimes, yeah, I would say social media is like my biggest resource at the
Yeah.
moment.
Okay.
And then there's a couple podcasts I listen to, like The Read, and
Okay.
there's a couple people I listen to that kind of like gets my day going, like so I could get
Mhm.
started. Um, that's the first thing that kind of came to mind. So
Okay. Yeah, I like
yeah.
that. I like that. So the last one, I just want you to fill in the blank and
Okay.
just say, my name is whatever your name is. And the key to longevity and success is whatever you think it is personally.
Okay. My name is Andrea Samuels. The key to longevity and success is consistency.
See, I tell them the consistency gonna get y'all every single time. You got to be consistent. That is the
Yeah.
consensus amongst all the people that
Hmm.
you and I admire is their consistency. So work on your consistency for sure. Before you go, please
100%.
share like wherever you want people to connect with you, whether it's social media, your website, where you want people to
Oh,
go.
sure. Well, I am pretty much everywhere. I am on Instagram, and my name is Andrea Samuels, two underscores. I'm on TikTok, and it's the same. It's Andrea Samuels, two underscores. Um, I am on YouTube, but it's some really old videos. I need to update that soon. But
Okay.
it's just my name, Andrea Samuels. Um, where else? Oh yeah, and then my website. You could if you want to see everything I do, my resume, everything, it's www.andreasamuels.com.
Yay. Well, thank you so much for sharing with us today. I really enjoyed this conversation so much, and hopefully I'll see you soon.
Yeah. Oh no, we gonna see each other real soon. I'm coming to see you next year for sure.
All right. Thank you, girl.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Friends in Beauty podcast. Don't forget, sharing is caring. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with another friend in beauty. Give it a thumbs up and subscribe, rate, and leave a 5-star review so that other friends in beauty can find the show. Plus, we'd love to hear your feedback. Connect with us on all social media platforms at Friends in Beauty, #Friends in Beauty to join the conversation, and join our Friends in Beauty Facebook community to stay connected. Talk to you soon.